Hey, Rufus! I think today's video is going to be a pretty good one. You ready for some quality edutainment? Alright, so today I thought we'd talk about... Wait a minute. Let's do some what? No, that's not what it said a minute ago. Let's do some what? Linguology? What in the name of Olympian Zeus? Okay, well, no big deal. We all make mistakes sometimes, especially you. Well, I was going to spend 20 minutes talking about the names of the 3 major worm phyla, but you've given me a better idea. Blackboard! Okay, so you know when you're talking or writing and you get stuck for a moment because you either can't think of the word for something or there isn't a single word that means what you want, so you just sort of make one up? That's called a nonce word. The etymology of nonce is pretty straightforward. It comes from the early Middle English phrase for the annis, for the once, as in something created for a particular moment. The phrase was mistakenly misdivided later as for the nonce, with the n wrongly detached from the definite article. This happens sometimes with n sounds, but that's a topic for another day. So a nonce word is the word that's created for a specific moment. Even though nonce words are made up, they still follow predictable patterns and have several characteristics in common. First of all, a nonce word should be gap-filling, whether that gap is perceived or actual. The whole point of creating a nonce word is to express an idea for which there isn't already a word, or there's a word but you don't know it or can't think of it, like when Rufus couldn't remember linguistics a minute ago and made up the word linguology to fill the gap. Second, nonce words are often ephemeral. Occasionally a nonce word will end up in the dictionary, at which point we call it a neologism, but usually nonce words are made up to serve their purpose and then fade away as quickly as they came, like Milli Vanilli. Girl, you know it's girl, you know it's girl, you know it's girl, you know it's... Yeah, they were great. Apparently one of them died? Yeah, I don't think that's how that worked. Anyway, since nonce words are usually ephemeral, they're also often context-dependent, what linguists would call non-lexicizable. They can't be added to the dictionary as new words because the meanings aren't clear without the contexts in which they were created, like one of my favorite nonce words from Futurama.
I did do the nasty and the pasty.
Verily, and that past nastification is what shields you from the brains.
Lastly, nonce words follow predictable patterns of English word formation. Many nonce words, for example, are simply created by adding different affixes to existing words to express novel ideas, like bruisability, or disappeal, or ungetoverable. None of these is an actual English word, but it's not because they don't conform to the rules for making an English word. They just aren't common enough to warrant a new dictionary entry. Another common nonce word creation method is the portmanteau, or blend. That's when you take 2 existing words and smash them together to create a new word that expresses both ideas. Portmanteau is itself a portmanteau of Natalie Portman and Justin Trudeau. Quiet, you. You may have caught the word edutainment earlier in this video. It's been used enough that it's in dictionaries now, but it almost certainly began its life as a portmanteau nonce word. George Bernard Shaw coined the term bardolatry in 1901 to describe the excessive worship of Shakespeare. A teetotalitarian doesn't just abstain from drinking alcohol, but insists that others do so too. Now, not all portmanteaus are nonce words necessarily. They may lack some of the characteristics we pointed out earlier, but many nonce words are portmanteaus. This video has been a little light on the Greek and Latin content, so here's a bonus fact. The longest word ever used in literature comes from the Greek comedic playwright Aristophanes, who coined the following nonce word in his play The Assemblywomen. Classics nerds have a special term for a word that only appears once in the entire written record of a language. It's called a hapax legomenon, or simply a hapax for short. Hapax is Greek for once. So Rufus, what do you think? Probably not as interesting as worm phyla, but hopefully you weren't too bored. Get out. Out! Am I too hard on him sometimes? Nope.